Good morning, guys. Welcome to Talking with the Reeves.
Good afternoon, guys.
Oh, darn. Is that the 12? Oh, my bad.
12.
I'm sorry. Well, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Talking with the Reeves. So today we're going to talk about relationships and the challenges that we face with relationships and blended families. But before we do that, we want to tell everybody happy Black History Month. We all know February is Black History Month. Time for us to celebrate that. We've been through a lot. Our ancestors went through a lot. Okay, so first and foremost, let me just say that I'd like to tell you how we met. So Jason and I met on MySpace. And anybody that know MySpace know that was a long time ago. But anyway, so as we stated in a previous video, we have 5 children, and we are a blended family. And blended families comes with challenges. I'm sure a lot of you all have blended families, and you know that it's not always easy to have blended families. And I think that when we are in relationships and we have children, we just jump right into, I don't know what she said. Anyway, when we are in relationships, we just jump right into the relationship without thinking about, the kids and stuff like that. So we don't believe in step kids. We don't do step parents. We don't do bonus kids, none of that. So we do have 5 kids together. But for this video purposes, we're gonna, split them up just for this video. So I have 4, good God. I have 3 adult children. I know, right? Where the 4th one at? I got 3 adult children, and Jason have 2. So that gave us all together 5. So when Jason and I first got together, my youngest was 16 years old. Do you remember how old?
Do I remember how old
Vale was?
JaVale?
Yeah.
No.
He was young. Both of his boys was in elementary school.
He was 6?
Was he 6?
I think so.
No, he wasn't. When we met, he couldn't even go to school. He was like going to daycare.
When we met, he was going to daycare. But when we got together, he was in kindergarten. Yeah, he was in kindergarten.
Now, of course, with the children, it went off well. The children had no issues at all. When we first started dating, Jason had his place, I had my place. I stayed more at his place. My older 2 kids had moved out, so it was just my daughter at home, and she was 11, having the house to herself. She didn't even like when I came home. But when we decided to merge into one household, it still wasn't an issue with the children. It was more so an issue with us understanding the way we parent the children, the things that we will and would not tolerate.
I think that's what it boils down to. The way we parent.
Yes, we parent.
We had 2
different ways of parenting.
Like she's an enabler. I'm not.
Okay, so Jason calls it an enabler. Okay, so he may be
right.
A little bit right with that. It's not so much that I'm an enabler. It's Jason and I grew up differently. So, of course, a lot of times people don't understand that when you grow up, the way you grow up, it really affects the way you parent. You know what I'm saying? So, the way I grew up was I had both of my parents. They wasn't together, but I had both of my parents. So,
I did.
um, and Jason, he didn't. So my parents always they didn't cater to us per se. I will say that they was there for us um, whenever we needed them to be there, no matter how old we were. And Jason, he didn't grow up that way. You know, he had to pretty much. Um,
I had to fend for myself,
he said it.
basically.
He said it. I didn't. Okay. Um, so I raised my children sort of the way that I was raised, that no matter how old you are, you're still my child, and I'm gonna go above and beyond to make sure that you have the things that you need, even though you're grown enough to go out here and get a goddamn job and do it yourself. Okay? So it took a lot of time for me to understand where he was coming from with you need to back up and allow them to be adults and allow them to control their own lives. I am a Gemini, okay? And being a Gemini is hard for me to watch, especially people that I love. That being our children, our friends, our family, whatever. I'm the one people come to when they have a problem because they know I'm all in with it and I'm going to try to help them solve that problem. So I was a overbearing parent. I wanted to be in control and make sure that everything was flowing the way I needed it to flow and that the kids were doing what I wanted them to do, even though they was adults. So I was overstepping my boundaries as far as that was concerned. Jason, on the other hand, he's like, look, they grown, let them make their own decisions. Whatever happened, that's something they got to deal with on their own.
Yep.
Point blank, period. If they get in trouble, they get in trouble. If they do good, they do good. If they do bad, they do bad. But either way, you have to let them walk that walk. So,
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, it was hard for me. So we had to seek counseling, marriage counseling, because it was really affecting our marriage. Really affecting our marriage. Um, to the point where I felt like we wasn't seeing eye to eye, and I felt like he didn't understand where I was coming from, and I was getting frustrated with him because instead of me listening to what he was trying to say to me, I was stuck on how I felt. And I felt like he didn't understand where I was coming from because, unlike me, my children grew up with only one parent. So I felt like I had to go above and beyond to make sure that they had the things that they want and the things that they needed. So, yes, I went too far a lot of times with giving them and allowing them to not do certain things because I would do it for them.
So, in other words, she wouldn't let them fall on their face and let them pick themselves back up. She would let them fall on their face, and she would come running to pick them up.
Yes, that is true. So, which I'm seeing, as time goes on, um, that a lot of the things that we discussed that I couldn't understand and I was pissed off about, um, doing the counseling and stuff like that and backing up and allowing my children to live their own lives to a certain point because I have to pull myself away sometimes because I still go into that
She goes into that mode.
habit of now
No,
it's with my
it's not a habit.
grandkids.
It's a mode.
Yeah, so now it's with my grandkids,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
they're like
Terrible,
my children, but they're
terrible.
my grandkids. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm trying to
She's
get better.
terrible. She's terrible with it.
I'm trying to get better with it, but God God put things in place for a reason, and a lot of times we have to go through trials and tribulations in order to figure out, you know, and take responsibility for the things that we do that's not right, and acknowledge the fact that as bad as the truth is, and as much as we don't want to hear it, is sometimes we have to take heed to it and just follow what God wants us to do. So a lot of the issues that we had was I felt like he didn't understand because his kids had both parents, which is not his fault. It is not his fault at all that his kids had both parents, and it's not his fault that he didn't have to walk in my shoes. That was something that God took me through, and he wanted me to go through it because he knew that I could handle it. So, as you all can see now, the kids are living their own lives. I put my 2 cents in every now and then, maybe a little bit more than what I should still. I just don't enable them like I used to. Um,
No,
uh,
you have gotten a whole lot better.
but thank you.
I will give you that. You have gotten better, a lot better.
Well,
But you
thank you.
still have, but you still have your episodes with certain ones.
Yes, I do. I do. And I mean, it's hard because I'm a mother and I don't want neither of our children to have to struggle and be put in a situation that we could have prevented them from getting in. And I know that they got to go through things and learn. I get that. I just have a hard time allowing them to go through those things. So blended families are hard. They are really, really hard. And I suggest anybody that's in a relationship, and if you have children that's not by your significant other and you're thinking about becoming a blended family, I suggest canceling first. It may sound crazy, or I suggest that you all take the time to really communicate with each other about it in a different parenting, because that's something that I wish we had done, because I think things would have went more smoothly with him and I if we had talked about it first. I think we was so busy thinking about what we feel.
But I feel like yeah, the problem was just it was just between me and you, because I wasn't no problem between me
The
and the
kids.
kids at all.
Yeah, it was
Because the
just me
kids,
and you.
you know, yeah, it was me and you. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I say I think that with blended families, you gotta look past just your relationship with your mate. You gotta
Well,
take
I
in
guess
consideration that these are children, no matter what their age is, and you gotta make sure that everybody in the household is on the same page. I think that's the most important thing. Um,
y'all gotta have y'all bonding moments too. There's a lot of bonding moments. Like we did certain things around the house that had actually had us bonding together,
mhm,
making us all one. You know what I'm saying? So
mhm,
things of that nature. Those things help out.
a lot. It really helped out a
What
lot.
was it? The flowers and the fire pit.
Yeah, the flowers and building a fire pit, and different family things, because like I said, a lot of times as adults we get in relationships and we like, oh, I'm in love, and we just thinking about ourselves, and
Forget all about the
yeah,
children.
we're not thinking about how the children feel and what they're going through, and how this change is going to affect them if we
Mm-hmm.
bring in this other person. So my opinion with anybody will be to, if you're thinking about moving in with each other and you do have a blended family, just take your time with it and really understand each other and make sure that the kids are 100% involved in that whole situation, so they feel comfortable as
and keep it 100 with them
oh
too.
yes, oh
Keep
yes,
it
yes.
100 with them. That's a must.
And understand too, because I had a hard time with this, it's not you and your kids. It's you all and then it's your kids. So, because I will always say, I don't care what nobody said. No, who you telling me I got to put my husband before my kids? Oh, heck no. In certain circumstances, you do. Because kids will play you. And if they can find a way to play you and get around with it, they will. They will do it any way that they can. And I would suggest anybody, these children today is not the children that they're totally different. And I never allowed my children to run any relationship of mine because, as they get older and they get into relationships, trust and believe you're going to be the last thing they're thinking about.
Yep.
So if you don't want to be alone and sitting like an old baddie by yourself, then I suggest you don't allow your children to run your relationship. Another thing I feel like people need to understand too is, and there's a book called Different Love Languages. Best book ever. Jason don't like to read. I like to read. Um, yes, I do. And that book, that book is, even if you don't want to read it, just understand when you talking to your mate, because we all have different love languages. Some people walk around and they tell each other, "I love you," and that's the way that they love, or they just do special things for that person. That's the
And
way they
some people
love.
do it by touch.
Yeah, it's
You know.
different ways that people um, have different love languages, and I think a lot of it has something to do with how you're
Affection.
raised. Some people grew up with
Mm-hmm.
parents that's not affectionate, and some people grew up with parents that's very affectionate. So you got to be on the same page as far as that, and not just think, oh, she don't give a shit, oh, he don't give a shit. No, you need to sit down and get to know each other. There's more to a relationship than just sex and money. You know what I'm saying? And you'll never really know a person. It's just impossible. You will know of it, the person, things about the person, but you will never know a person because we're human and we can all change our minds at different times. Um, what else do we want to say about relationships?
They hard. They just hard.
Finances
They hard.
is very. I think most people in relationships,
Everybody has their own system.
I think a lot of times, most people in their relationship, the biggest issues they have is sex and finances. Sex and finances.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are the two main things that tear a relationship apart.
It
I
really
feel
would.
like, yeah,
It really, really would. Because
yeah. Sex causes you to cheat.
if you weak,
Finances, yeah, if you weak, finances will just break you.
it will. It really, really will. Well, we're not going to hold you all too much longer, but we enjoy you all stopping by to talk to the Reeves. If
We
you
might get back on this later.
If you all have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And
In the
I had
comments.
to get it out; it was stuck for some reason. Please leave it in the comments. Please share our channel and like and subscribe. And we'll probably be back on later, depending on how the day goes. But in the meantime, in between time, y'all stay safe, take care of each other. Remember, mask up because the virus is still out here. And for all my black sisters and brothers, please celebrate the whole month of February because it's our month. It may be the shortest month, but it's still our month, and we're going to celebrate it to the fullest. Until next time, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.